Chuck Blazer.
Chuck Blazer.
Chuck Blazer.
Chuck Blazer.
Chuck Blazer.
Chuck Blazer.
November 2011, Manhattan. A 450-pound man is riding a motorized scooter down Fifth Avenue. He has a parrot named Max in his Trump Tower apartment. He has a separate apartment just for his cats. He pays $18,000 a month for one unit, $6,000 a month for the other. He's eating at the finest restaurants in New York every night. He's flying private jets to World Cup bids. He's shaking hands with Putin. He's sitting at the table where the future of the world's most popular sport gets decided. Two men are following him. One is from the FBI, one is from the IRS. They've been building a file on him for months. Tax evasion, shell companies, tens of millions in unreported income hidden offshore. They catch up to him on the sidewalk and give him a choice. We can put you in handcuffs right now, or you can help us. The man on the scooter stares at them. He is 66 years old. He weighs 450 pounds. He has cancer he doesn't know about yet. He has more money than he'll ever spend, and he has 20 years of secrets that can bring down the most powerful sports organization on Earth. His name is Chuck Blazer. He built FIFA's empire in the Americas. He robbed it for 2 decades straight. And then, when the FBI came knocking, he became the most dangerous informant in the history of sports. This is how one American secretly destroyed the organization he spent his life building. And whether he was a whistleblower or just a rat trying to save himself is a question nobody has fully answered. November 19th, 1989, Port of Spain, Trinidad. 45,000 people are packed into the national stadium. The noise is extraordinary. The U.S. men's national team needs this win to qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 40 years. In the 31st minute, Paul Caligiuri receives the ball 35 yards from goal, left foot, half volley. The ball bends past the goalkeeper and into the net. The crowd erupts, one of the most famous goals in American soccer history. But Blazer isn't watching the game, he's watching the politics. CONCACAF is there, the Confederation of North, Central American, and Caribbean Association Football, the FIFA subsidiary that runs soccer across 41 countries from Canada to the Caribbean. He's studying who talks to whom, who defers to whom, who wants something they don't have yet. Blazer is 44 years old. He's not a player, he's not a coach, he's an organizer, a man who looks at every room he enters and immediately calculates how to run it. He spent the 1980s grinding through American soccer politics, regional boards, U.S. Soccer Federation committees, the unglamorous scaffolding that nobody famous wants to touch. He tried running a professional team. The owners fired him when they found out he was paying himself more than the entire combined player payroll. He tried a second one. He spent the startup capital on luxury hotels and disappeared. By 1989, he has nothing. No title, no income, no obvious path back in. But he has a plan, and the man he needs is across the stadium. Jack Warner, Confederation Vice President, burning with political ambition and smart enough to know he can't get where he wants to go alone. After the match, Blazer finds him. The conversation is short, almost businesslike.
I can get you elected president of Confederation. You make me your general secretary.
Warner stares at this overweight American from Westchester County. No credentials, no federation behind him, just this proposition. He agrees. What Blazer understands, that almost nobody else has worked out yet, is the math underneath FIFA's structure. In FIFA, Barbados and Bermuda have exactly the same vote as Germany and Brazil. One nation, one vote. Confederation contains 41 member federations, dozens of tiny Caribbean island nations, each one with a vote, most with almost no money and almost no power inside the organization. Whoever controls those votes controls the Confederation. Whoever controls the Confederation sits on FIFA's executive committee. Whoever sits on that committee decides where the World Cup goes. Blazer campaigns across the Caribbean like a man running for Senate. He visits islands most FIFA officials have never been to. He shows up, he shakes hands, he makes promises, he makes the small federations feel seen. Warner wins the election by a landslide, 3 times the votes of the incumbent. He keeps his word. On July 31st, 1990, Chuck Blazer is named General Secretary of Confederation. His first move, relocate the headquarters from Guatemala City to Trump Tower, New York, 17th floor. He takes 2 apartments for himself on the 49th. And then he does something so audacious, it will take the FBI 15 years to fully untangle. He writes his own contract, not to himself directly, to a shell company he creates and controls called Sportvertising. 10% of everything the Confederation earns goes to him. No disclosure to the board. He writes it in and signs it himself. Mr. 10%. Most people in that building are there to make money for somebody else. Blazer has figured out how to make the Confederation pay him to make money for himself. The deal isn't disclosed to anyone. Nobody votes on it. He just writes it into his own contract and signs it. Nobody notices. Or if they do, nobody says anything. Here's what Blazer actually built. He creates the Confederation's Gold Cup in 1991, a continental championship tournament between the national teams of North and Central America and the Caribbean. It doesn't exist yet. He invents it. Lands it in US stadiums. Sells the television rights. First year, Confederation revenues go from $140,000 to over $1 million. He's the man who gets the 1994 World Cup hosted in the United States, the biggest sporting event in American history at that point. 3.5 million total attendance, still the record for any World Cup. He helps build the commercial foundation that eventually becomes Major League Soccer. And the whole time, 10% of everything is flowing into his pocket. By the late 1990s, Blazer has a seat on FIFA's executive committee. He's the first American ever elected to that body. 24 men. They vote on where the World Cup goes. They vote on who runs the organization. They are the most powerful committee in sport. Blazer is running up $29 million in charges on an American Express card owned by the Confederation. The Confederation is paying for 2 Trump Tower apartments, paying for his Mondrian Hotel suites in Miami, paying for apartments at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, paying for private jets. He has a standing table at Elaine's, a legendary Upper East Side restaurant where politicians and actors and old money New York goes to be seen. His driver waits outside. He's entertaining guests. He keeps evening gowns in his apartment for female companions to wear to dinner. He's earned 26 million American Express reward points. 26 million. That's not a number, that's a lifestyle. And none of it is being declared to the IRS. 6 straight years, 2005 through 2010. More than $11 million in unreported income. 0 filed. How does that happen? Easy. When you're the American at FIFA's table, when you're the guy who built soccer in this country, when the soccer world owes you, nobody looks too hard. And the money coming in isn't just his salary, it's bribes. In 1992, Blazer helps arrange bribes connected to the vote for which country hosts the 1998 World Cup. France wins. Blazer's committee gets paid. In 2010, when South Africa needs the 2010 World Cup to be held on African soil, the first time ever, money moves through FIFA accounts, $10 million. A portion finds its way to Blazer and 2 other executive committee members. South Africa gets the vote. It isn't a political decision. It isn't a moral one. It's a transaction. Blazer will later admit all of this in a federal courtroom, under oath, with prosecutors listening. But that's still years away. In 2010, Chuck Blazer is untouchable. He's the king of soccer in the Americas. Then he makes a mistake, a small one, a stupid one. The kind of mistake people who have been getting away with things for 20 years always eventually make. He turns informant, but not on himself. Not yet. He turns informant on someone else. 2011, FIFA presidential election. Sepp Blatter, the Swiss politician who's run FIFA since 1998, is running for a 4th term. His only challenger is Mohammed bin Hammam, the Qatari who runs the Asian Football Confederation. Blazer receives reports that bin Hammam and Jack Warner, Blazer's own ally, are paying Caribbean Federation delegates $40,000 each to vote against Blatter. Blazer blows the whistle on them. He reports the bribery scheme to FIFA's ethics committee. Warner and bin Hammam are both suspended. Blatter runs unopposed, gets elected again. But here's what nobody understands in that moment. Blazer isn't exposing corruption because he cares about integrity. He's been bribing people for 2 decades. He's been taking money from World Cup bids himself. He turns in Warner because Warner is losing power, because the alliance is fracturing, because in soccer politics, when the wind shifts, you have to decide who you're loyal to, and Blazer has always been loyal to Blazer. Warner is furious. He tries to have Blazer fired from the Confederation. The counterattack fails. Blazer keeps his FIFA seat. He looks like the good guy, the American who cleaned up the mess, the one executive who had the guts to expose corruption. He will build this reputation for approximately 8 months. Then the FBI catches up with him on 5th Avenue, because while Blazer was pointing fingers at Warner and bin Hammam, someone at the IRS had been quietly pulling his financial records. The shell companies, the offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, the Confederation credit card running $29 million in personal charges, the 6 years of unfiled returns. The IRS finds it. They bring it to the FBI, and two agents follow a 450-pound man on a motorized scooter down Fifth Avenue in November 2011 and give him the choice that will change soccer forever. Here's what the FBI has in 2011. They have Chuck Blazer for tax evasion. That's real. That's prosecutable. He can go to prison for that right now, but they want more. They want FIFA. The Eastern District of New York, the federal prosecutors in Brooklyn, has been building a theory for years. FIFA is a corrupt enterprise, a criminal organization under the RICO Act. Racketeering, wire fraud, money laundering, the same laws they use to prosecute the mob. But to make that case, they need someone on the inside, someone who's been to the meetings, someone who knows where the money moved and who signed off on it, someone who can get them into rooms where the deals get made. Blazer is that someone. He's been on FIFA's executive committee since 1997. He's attended every major meeting. He knows every official. He knows where the bodies are buried, literally in terms of the financial evidence, because he helped bury some of them. The FBI lays it out on Fifth Avenue. Here's what we have. Here's what we can charge. Here's where this goes if you don't cooperate. Blazer folds immediately. According to sources close to the case, there's no pushback, no calling a lawyer, no dramatic standoff. He looks at the agents and says, essentially, what do you need? Days later, prosecutors draw up a cooperation agreement. Blazer signs it. The deal is this. He will plead guilty to 10 criminal counts, including racketeering, wire fraud, money laundering, and tax evasion. Secretly, the plea kept under seal. In exchange, he will become a confidential informant. He will wear a wire. He will record his colleagues. He will help bring down FIFA from the inside. The investigation that follows will take 4 years. It will result in charges against more than 40 officials and executives across multiple countries. It will produce the most dramatic morning in the history of sports law enforcement. But first, Blazer has to keep pretending to be Chuck Blazer. He still has his FIFA seat. He still has access to the meetings. He still has relationships with officials on every continent who trust him, who have done deals with him, who have no idea that every conversation he has is now potentially being recorded for federal prosecutors in Brooklyn. Between December 2011 and November 2013, Blazer meets with FBI agents 19 times. He provides documents, financial records, details of how bribe schemes worked, names, amounts, dates, and then he goes to the 2012 London Olympics. What happens next is one of the strangest scenes in American law enforcement history. Chuck Blazer, Trump Tower, 49th floor, his apartment with the Central Park view. He's standing in an adult diaper. Because of his size and his health, he needs one. An FBI agent and an IRS agent are in the room. They are affixing a recording device to his body. The man who built soccer in America. The man who ran with the most powerful people in global sport. The man who ate at the finest restaurants in New York for 20 years on a stolen credit card. Standing in an adult diaper, getting wired for sound, trying to stay out of prison. But for the overseas meetings, the FBI decides a traditional body wire is too risky. He will not wear a traditional wire to London. They give him something better, a keychain, modified, miniature microphone inside. Leave it on a table in your hotel suite. Let people talk. London, 2012, the Olympics. Blazer checks into the Mayfair Hotel. He's there as a FIFA executive. He has meetings scheduled with officials from across the soccer world. He's done this dozens of times. Except this time, a keychain sits on the table between him and the people he meets. He arranges meetings with Alexei Sorokin, the head of Russia's 2018 World Cup Organizing Committee, with Anton Baranov, a senior official from Russia's 2018 bid. They come to his suite. They sit across from him. They talk about the World Cup, about bids, about the conversations that happen around them. The keychain records everything. Blazer is smiling, asking questions, being Chuck Blazer, the big American, the one who makes things happen. Nobody suspects him. Why would they? He's been one of them for 20 years. He's the insider's insider. He's the man who's taken their calls and attended their dinners and voted with them on the things that matter. He's also been secretly cooperating with the United States Department of Justice for 8 months. The recordings he makes in London will become part of the largest sports corruption prosecution in American history. But Blazer is getting sick. Rectal cancer, diagnosed around this time, diabetes, heart disease. His body is failing at the same rate as the organization he's betraying. In November 2013, he secretly pleads guilty in federal court in Brooklyn. The courtroom is sealed. No press, no public record. A judge accepts his plea on 10 counts. The document will stay under seal for nearly 2 years. Blazer goes home. He's not arrested. He's not publicly charged. As far as the soccer world knows, he's just an aging former official who got pushed out of the Confederation after making some accusations. The FBI keeps building. The Eastern District prosecutors keep working. They are assembling a case that spans 24 years, 10 countries, and more than $150 million in bribes. They are waiting for the right moment, the most public moment possible. They find it in the spring of 2015. FIFA is holding its annual Congress in Zurich. All the major officials will be there. Sepp Blatter is running for his 5th term as president. The prosecutors make a decision. They won't move quietly. They will move the morning the entire soccer world is watching Zurich. If you're going to burn it down, burn it in front of everyone. May 27, 2015, Zurich, Switzerland. The Bauer Olach Hotel, one of the most elegant properties in Europe. 6 a.m. Swiss police officers enter the building. They're in plain clothes. They move quietly through the corridors. 7 FIFA executives are arrested in their rooms. Jeffrey Webb, the Confederation's president. Eduardo Lee, Costa Rica's federation chief. Eugenio Figueiredo, the South American football president. Jose Maria Marin, a Brazilian official. 3 more. Hotel staff hold up blankets to shield the arrested officials as they're led out through the lobby to waiting cars. Camera crews are outside. The images go around the world instantly. FIFA executives in suits and blankets being put into Swiss police vehicles at dawn. At the same moment, back in New York, U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch stands at a press conference. She announces a 47-count indictment, 164 pages, 9 FIFA officials, and 5 corporate executives charged with racketeering, bribery, fraud, and money laundering, spanning 24 years. The IRS chief makes a statement that runs on every sports channel in America.
This really is the World Cup of fraud, and today we are issuing FIFA a red card.
2 days later, Sepp Blatter wins re-election as FIFA president anyway. 133 votes to 73. The soccer world watches in disbelief. 6 days after the arrests, he resigns. The organization that had operated for a century without serious accountability, that had sold World Cups to the highest bidder, that had taken bribes in nearly every corner of the world, that organization is in freefall. Total charges will eventually reach more than 40 officials and executives, over $150 million in bribes documented. The entire thing started with a fat man on a scooter, a Fifth Avenue confrontation, a choice. Chuck Blazer is not in Zurich. He's too sick to travel. By the time the arrests happen, he's confined largely to a hospital in New Jersey. Cancer, diabetes, his heart failing. He never testifies at trial. He dies on July 12, 2017. FIFA bans him for life from all football activity nearly 2 years before he dies. He is told about the ban from his hospital bed. His lawyers tell the press he felt profound sorrow and regret, that he hoped to bring transparency and fair play to the sport. Was he a whistleblower? Or was he a rat? A man who spent 20 years building the corruption he later dismantled, only because the alternative was federal prison? Nobody has fully answered that, and the sport moved on without waiting for one. The World Cup 2026 is happening right now. Billions of people watching. Players on that field who worked their entire lives for that moment. Fans who saved for years to be there. And somewhere in the foundation of that tournament, in the decades of bidding processes and vote counts and backroom negotiations that put it in a particular country, the shadow of what Chuck Blazer built and robbed and burned down is still there. Was that justice? Or was it just the last deal he ever made? If this story stayed with you, like, subscribe. We're building toward 1,000 subscribers together. And if you want to know how someone pulled off America's biggest oil heist and got away with it for 4 years, watch this.